I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs. I play video games.
News and Eliminated with your hosts, John DeLuna, XV, X-Chicken, Weebum,
damn right I am,
and Rob.
Here we go!
News and Eliminated.
Hey everybody, it's your old friend John DeLuna. Welcome to new Soundwave. I think it's like 105. We just kind of stop counting at this point. Next week we'll probably start counting in, I guess, the metric system. Let's do that.
We should count in hexadecimal.
Yes, hexadecimal 1. Let's do that. Sorry, next week though. Yeah, it's like 105. Give or take. So on this week's show, we're recording on Thursday, so forgive us if we sound a little bit off and a little bit disoriented, because this is weird, man. This is a Wednesday show, and it's Thursday, and I don't know if we're gonna make it out of this alive. With me this week, two beautifully bearded gentlemen, XV, Rob Clay, very nice guys. I couldn't grow a mustache if you gave me 5 years and a bucket of steroids. I just can't do it. But you guys are, hey, handsomely busheled in the face.
Well, now that you've given away my secret.
Yeah, because like from the neck down we can't see you, but you're like the Incredible Hulk from the neck down. Yes, I can, obviously. Same thing with Rob. I can tell. I can see.
Except most of my mass landed around my waist instead of on my pecs.
This week is it's a short and pithy show. So we'll talk a little bit about DCUO online. It's a big hit now. Modern Warfare 3 is out. Some game called Modern Warfare. Street Fighter cross Tekken news. Also Capcom doing the Capcomiest thing ever. Simpsons Arcade possibly coming to a console near you. And then the topic for this week is the video game of the decade was decided by some group, apparently without asking actual gamers, I'm going to guess, if you look at the results. So we'll tell you what the game of the decade was, according to the National Academy of Video Game Testers and Reviewers. And we'll see if we agree with that. So, okay, first story, DCU Online is at a right price, finally. That price is free. So Sony, in 1 week, has gained 1 million new players for DCU Online, a 50-50 split between PC and PlayStation 3. All it took was making the game free. Guys, have you been tempted to pick up DCU, download it, the immense 14 gigs of download?
Not remotely.
Not remotely. What about you, Rob?
A tiny bit, but on the PS3 it's 18 gigs, so...
Oh my god. Why is it bigger on the PS3? That's weird.
Better graphics, probably.
Yeah, possibly so.
You get free slowdown with that. It's 4 gigs of slowdown. So, okay, Modern Warfare 3. Modern Warfare 3 has come out. It's going to be probably the game of the year in terms of sales, at least. But it's not going to be the game of the year in terms of rating, user rating. So... on Metacritic, right now, the user rating is just a 3.1 out of 10. And about 24 hours ago, it was even lower. It was like a 1.3 out of 10. Low. This is despite decent reviews, between an 8 and 9 out of 10 by reviewers. But the Metacritic user score, so bad, that on Twitter, Sledgehammer Games studio head Glenn Schofield asked fans to, quote, help with Modern Warfare 3's suspiciously low user score ratings by writing their own user review. Help a brother out. Schofield has apparently... Yeah, right? So, and apparently that original tweet has been deleted. And then, like I said, as of today, recording day, the Metacritic score has rocketed up from a 1.3 to a 3.1 out of 10. Now this has happened before, guys, and it's happened before with I believe Modern Warfare. It was Modern Warfare 2, I believe, ran into something similar to this. One of the first-person shooters last year, one of the games of the year last year, had a similar scandal here, if you will, where their department heads bitched and moaned about low user scores, and asked people to rethink their scores. So, I mean, I ask you guys, user scores are, you can't take them that seriously, can you? I mean, because they are what they are. I mean, don't you take a video game reviewer score inherently more seriously than a user score anyway?
For me, it's not really about the numerical score anyway. It's about the actual comments of the reviewer. Because, you're going to get your insights into the worth of the game that way more than an arbitrary number that's attached to it, I think.
Yeah.
So you got to look past that number.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not to plug us too hard, but on figureviews.com, there's a reason we decided not to go with a numerical scale for what we were doing, because it just doesn't mean that much. And how do you figure out, why an 8 toy is not as good as a 9 toy? It's right. It just,
See, for me, I'll take the numbers as I'll look at a few of the high number reviews and then a few of the low number reviews, compare what they have to say, and then draw an average between the, what falls in common, what things are far apart. That's how I'll judge the quality of a game or even like a piece of electronics.
So you really you really read the review and you kind of dig around. You don't just
I research, I study. I mean, for me, video games are a really big investment if I'm buying them brand new, and unless it's something like Saints Row 3 where I've got 2 games before that give me a reasonable certainty that, okay, this is going to be worth my $65. If it's something completely new to me, I'm going to do as much research as I can to get the best idea of, do I want to do this now or wait until it's $20 in 4 months?
Yeah.
That makes sense. And the thing about it is, video games, you're right, are expensive. So, we shouldn't really take lightly this kind of attempted manipulation, even if it's a really dumb way of getting around it. But you're really this is like a really serious thing. If you're trying to prop up user scores in the hopes of selling $60 units, and it doesn't matter if it's a game, right? You're trying to take $60 from somebody who might not otherwise spend that money on this game. The other thing is, frankly, the one thing I have noticed, I would say probably about user scores that's more true than reviewer scores. Reviewers probably take totality more into account when they give a game that number. So when they gave a game an 8, they've probably, because it's their job, they probably weighed a little bit more fairly everything about the game. But a user score can sometimes, or more often than a professional reviewer score, can reflect something very specific that they don't really agree with, or some kind of emotional reaction to the game.
Yeah.
And that's not good. So reading reviews for Modern Warfare 3, there is one negative string I've noticed in the reviews. And I plan to play the game this weekend a little bit. And I'll see if it's true. I played a lot of more Modern Warfare 1, a little bit of 2. And 3 it feels, for all intents and purposes, like the last of Modern Warfare. As far as the fiction goes and the branding goes, they're probably going to jump to something else. I pray to God you can only do Modern Warfare 3 times, I think, before it's time to go back to sci-fi or World War II. Yeah, that's never been done. Yeah, the Civil War. The Civil War would be awesome. Or even go to back further to maybe the frontier, traveling west and all that stuff, because you could level up your musket. I'd like to see how's that happen. How do you have, I've got a level 10 musket, and also smart bombs. Figure it out.
There is actually a History Channel Civil War game. I've been kind of curious about it, but I don't think I could put up with authentic reload times on some of those weapons.
I've actually come across enough reviews of that to be able to tell you that it's very much a video game made by a TV network.
Gotcha.
That's basically what I'm saying. Thank you.
It's crap. So yeah, I think this Modern Warfare 3 is the last Modern Warfare. So I'm gonna give it a shot. But like I was saying, the one negative thing that I've noticed through all the reviews is reviewers can't help but notice that it's become kind of like Madden games, that it feels like every year they crank one out. The inspiration left a long time ago. And that it's frankly less fun than some of the things they did in the earlier Modern Warfare games when they had all these ideas that were fresh and they were kind of throwing them at the wall. This is just kind of like, oh, we got to do another Modern Warfare. Let's just get it out.
Next year, they're just going to drop the sequential numbering and do, like, Modern Warfare 2012 to really take that Madden approach to its ultimate limit.
They really should. But wouldn't it be Modern Warfare 2013 to be confusing like Madden? They'll be a year ahead.
Yeah, okay.
We won't know why. Yeah.
I can dig that.
Or, you know what, they'll be like WrestleMania, where WrestleMania decided to arbitrarily drop Roman numerals and to start counting, and then they came back. I think they went back arbitrarily to Roman numerals. Because it was the late 90s and everybody was stupid. And they figured, I guess, Roman numerals, nobody can possibly decipher those.
Well, I figured between the year number... between the year number and the Roman numeral, marketing will pick whichever one sounds the most impressive at the moment.
Yes.
Well, and it's kind of the same thing with the Roman numerals, too. Remember in Transformers, the Transmetal 2 is the first packaging had the Roman numeral 2. Then they had to revise it to a regular 2.
That's right. That's right.
And again, late 90s.
To go on an RFC tangent, did that packaging got out, right? Did it?
A little bit, yeah. Not a whole lot. I think it was less than the Rock Bubble cards, the original line.
Oh my gosh. That is geeky and awesome. That's geeky. That's why you should listen to RFC, too. Usually on Wednesday nights, right before new Soundwave. Okay, Capcom. Some weird, some news that may be good or bad, I can't tell, and then some news that's bad. First, the good, maybe bad, maybe we don't know yet. So Street Fighter Cross Tekken's coming out next spring. And Capcom has said that it won't be following its previous practice of re-releasing an enhanced version of Super Duper Hyper DX Street Fighter Cross Tekken Rainbow Edition. They're not going to do that. Instead, they are going to update the game through strictly DLC, kind of like how they did with the last version of Street Fighter 4, which was called Arcade Edition. That was a DLC. That was about $15, I believe. It was rebalancing, a couple new characters. That's what they planned for Street Fighter Cross Tekken. They're not going to do a disc update. Okay, so we'll just have to wait and see what that looks like. That's the news that's kind of, take it or leave it. Okay, the news that's stupid, which comes direct from XV in the pre-show.
Which came from Barricade64 on Twitter, one of our loyal fans.
Magical thing. By the way, follow us on Twitter, new_Soundwave. Capcom is selling as DLC for Dead Rising.
Dead Rising 2, I think it is.
Dead Rising 2, yes, off the record. Cheat codes. So Capcom is trying to profit off cheat codes as DLC. That's the Capcomiest thing I've ever Capcom.
I've given this a little thought, though, and, back in the PS2 days, you could buy game sharks or code breakers, which would do basically the same thing. You're paying for cheat codes. You can't really get that on the modern systems now because the math is too complicated or something. And, I can kind of see Capcom's approach here. People would pay for cheat codes before, so releasing them on a per-game basis sort of makes some kind of not entirely evil sense, sort of.
You're saying it could be possibly justified in some weird way.
At least there's, market precedent for something sort of similar to it if you squint and turn your head to the side a little.
Okay.
Maybe not for the $10, I believe it is, that they want for this DLC, which only includes, 10 codes.
Oh, good grief.
Oh, wow.
But, I'm just saying, it's not exactly... I don't think it's flat out the evil thing that it seems like on the surface of it.
Okay.
Because if there was code breakers that worked on Xboxes and PlayStation 3s now, I would own one anyway, so...
Yes. Amen to that. Amen to that. Hey guys, one of the best beat-em-ups of all time is probably coming to multi-platforms, Xbox Live, PSN, Simpsons Arcade. The classic Konami Simpsons game from the late I think 1990 actually. It was right on 1990 on the dot. Has been rated in Australia by the Australian government's classification board, which is traditionally one of the first boards to rate video games. So it looks like we're going to get Simpsons Arcade ports all around for everybody, which is nice. That's going to be great. I can't remember the last time. Yeah, Brian, our producer, can finally dump his MAME cabinet and all his ROMs, his, of course, legal ROMs.
Of course.
Yes. If anybody from the FBI is listening, which would mean Diecast is in the FBI, just ignore that. Brian's our producer, probably has about 20,000 video games in his bedroom alone, another 10 in the living room. Yes, 15 or 20,000 total.
Big stack of arcade boards in the corner, we promise.
Yes. And when he says 15 or 20, or 10 or 15, I'm not sure if he's exaggerating. I'm not sure if he's joking, because it's a possibility. Anyway.
He's this great troll, and he even does it to us. So I mean, there's just no telling.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
There's no telling where the end is.
Sometimes I'm sure Brian trolls himself and forgets that he's trolling himself, and
that would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I'm pretty sure that would open a black hole somewhere. Okay, new releases for the week: Modern Warfare 3, Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. We really haven't talked about Skyrim. So Skyrim is the other monstrous release of the week. Elder Scrolls V. It's a huge, expansive role-playing game. Apparently, it's a little buggy dog. It's a little pitchy dog, just like Dark Souls was. But people, I think, look past the glitches these days if the game is sufficiently huge. And this is one of those games where it's all about the scale. It's not about the details. We'll review this, or certainly talk a little bit more about this in full next week when we have some time to kind of dig into Skyrim. But it's a big deal. It's going to be a lot like Dark Souls, where people are diving into it this week. Don't really know what to make of it. It's such a huge game. And about a week from now, people will have more solid opinions on it. So we'll talk a little bit more about it next week. The other two releases for this week show how, when movies, huge blockbuster movies, have a week of release and everybody scatters and runs, this week belonged to Modern Warfare 3 and Skyrim, because the other two releases for the week were essentially Lego Harry Potter, years 5 through 7, and the Black Eyed Peas experience on the Wii. Yeah. So.
What?
Yes,
What?
The Black Eyed Peas. I'm pretty sure what you just said was the title to a Black Eyed Peas song last year. So, and also probably essentially all the lyrics in said song.
But what is this game even? I don't.
The Black Eyed Peas experience. I can only guess that it's the greatest game of the last 5 years, actually, because it has to be. And yes,
I
Diecast.
the remake of that Aerosmith game for the Super Nintendo.
Was that a port of the arcade shooter? Is that what you're talking about? Or was there something else? Don't tell me there was a side
Revolution X?
Yeah, that was the shooter.
Yeah, it was the shooter. Which was awesome. That was an awesome arcade game at the time, I thought. I thought that was fun. Diecast in the chat says, yes, he makes a good point. Lego Harry Potter, we make fun of it, but it will sell buckets.
All those Lego games do, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Lego Batman is the best-selling Batman video game of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I've played Lego Batman. It's pretty fun.
I don't doubt that, since it's like half the people in America apparently bought a copy. So
I really need to get more current with the Lego stuff. The last one I got was actually the first Lego Star Wars. So
I hear they're good. I hear they're always at least a solid experience. You know.
Yeah.
Okay. So topic for the week, and this is one I think we could all kind of sink our teeth into. And Rob, you actually tweeted about this earlier. Okay, so the video game of the decade, which is 2001 through 2009, the winner of that distinction was crowned this week by the National Academy of Video Game Testers and Reviewers, and that game is Shadow of the Colossus, which, granted, has a massive cult following, before we get into whether this is a good thing or bad thing, whether this makes sense, whatnot, you should know the other finalists for this game award for Game of the Decade: Batman Arkham Asylum, Bioshock 1, Modern Warfare 2, God of War, Eco, New Super Mario Brothers, Resident Evil 4, Rock Band 2, and World of Warcraft. So those are all heavy hitters, to be sure, and some massive mainstream successes in there. But Shadow of Colossus. So Rob, since you tweeted about this, what was your reaction when you saw this?
My reaction is that it would not have been my choice, but it is exactly the kind of game I would expect an association of critics to pick. It's the kind of game that you would select when you are really looking to, show outsiders something that lends a certain legitimacy to a genre you really enjoy. I mean, in that sense, it's definitely that. It's an art house game. There's no other way to put it. It's I think you could make pretty good, strong cases for a lot of the finalists for being Game of the Decade. And I'm sure, I know that Eco and Shadow of the Colossus have influenced a lot of other things, but I think in and of themselves, I don't think there's a really good case for saying that it was like the best thing that came out in the last 10 years. There's a bunch of things not on that list I would put ahead of those. So.
XV, you're one of our more casual gamers, I should say.
I couldn't even remember which game Shadow of the Colossus was.
That's what I was going to ask you. Is like, have you even heard of Shadow of the Colossus?
No, I mean, I remember from around when it came out. I remember commercials for it and vague talk, but it's like, shoot, what game was that? I don't even have a picture of that in my head anymore.
I think the game Diecast asked which system it was for. I think it was PS2.
Yeah. Just got an HD re-release along with Eco on PS3.
It did,
yes.
Which I hear the remake of Shadow of the Colossus is spectacular visually. And Eco, I think, is kind of just lost in the Shadow of the Colossus. Ha ha ha.
But yeah, I mean, I think that actually makes a good point, since every other game in this list of other finalists we have, all of those, I have a really solid concept of what game that was.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Shadow of the Colossus is like, okay, there's a name and that's it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. If anybody else is like XV, and that would probably be 99% of the world, and you don't know what Shadow of the Colossus is, essentially, it's like Rob said, it's a high concept game. You essentially go around slowly killing gigantic mythical beasts. It's like one huge ongoing boss battle after another. And of course there's a plot twist. I will not spoil it for you. But essentially that's it. And actually when it came out on the PS2, I remember the game and the concept was actually a little bit too much for the technology at the time. So the original Shadow of the Colossus can get kind of jaggy in the graphics, and there's a little bit of slowdown, and it kind of chokes on itself a little bit. But the remake obviously smooths all that out, redoes the graphics, and it plays flawlessly. But back then, even back then, it was a little too much for the system that it was on. So yeah, I mean, this does like kind of reek a little bit of like, say, the Oscars, where like all the nominees we know, but the winner is this kind of weird artsy game that, or creative work that it's almost like at some point it was designed to win awards. It almost feels like, oh, you know what? At some point, the developers are kind of like smirking and winking at each other, thinking, this baby's awesome. It's going to win awards. It's just art, that kind of thing.
Exactly. It's art with a capital A. Yes. Is the best way I know to put it.
Yes. And I'm trying to think of, in the last decade or so, similar games to that maybe, for whatever reason, didn't catch fire. Like Shadow of the Colossus didn't get a cult following. I mean, frankly, Eco is probably one. Okami is another one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little Okami was kind of. I probably wouldn't put it on this fine list either, but it would. I bet it's like on the honorable mention, because it's like that. Okami is where you play a dog. I'll say no, right? You're like, oh yeah, that's artsy. You're damn right, it's artsy. You're playing a dog, and it's a god, and it's a female. So it gets with every word, it gets artsier, right?
Hat trick.
It's a hat trick. Yes. You play a dog. It's a bitch. It's also like, an ancient Japanese god. Like, wow. Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm trying. Yeah, that's what you say. You like double thumbs up. I'm trying to think of like any other arts games in the last 10 years. I mean, frankly, that Ico, Okami, Shadow of the Colossus are really the ones that dominated, and here they are winning an award. Some other decade awards that were given out, if you're curious: innovation in game technology, the Wii. I don't think there's any surprise there.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, I mean, it burned bright and it burned relatively fast, but when the Wii hit, it was like a piece of the future. And
it made a big impression until everybody figured out that Wii Sports was going to be the best game they would ever have for the system. Which I cannot harp on enough.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah. And then what? It only took them like 3 years to bring out Wii Sports 2.
That was Wii Sports Resort, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think was as good.
It was not. I think it was like more of the same plus archery. And it's that doesn't have the same magic as tennis. I would say archery. Anyway. Or bowling. Man, bowling.
Yeah.
Oh, good times. Good times. Direction and adventure game sequel is an award. Uncharted 2 got that. That sounds like they should have just renamed that award the Uncharted Award. What kind of thing is that? Direction and adventure game sequel.
Yeah, that is really specific.
That is really specific. Sponsored by Sony. Outstanding music or performance game. Okay, I got it. That's weird to read. Okay, so outstanding music or performance game. Rock Band 2. Original action game. Infamous. I have Infamous on my PlayStation 3. I have not played a second of it. I need to. I got it as my apology for being.
Oh, that was your PSN. Please take us back game.
Yes. That was the take me back.
That was your bouquet of flowers from the abusive spouse game.
Yeah. My Ike Taylor bouquet of flowers. But I also got Little Big Planet. I haven't played a second of that, but I actually feel bad about not playing that. Infamous, I forget I own that.
I forget it exists.
Yeah, I mean, and Infamous 2 is supposed to be good.
Yeah.
So, and I've never heard like terrible things about Infamous 1. So, and it was free. All it took was, person identity rape is all it cost me. Okay, 2 more. Action game sequel, Half-Life 2. Wow, Half-Life 2, I guess, was like right in 2001, 2002. Half-Life 2 feels ancient. Strategy game, Rome, Total War. Sure. So, all around,
some stuff makes sense. Other stuff seems bought.
Yeah, especially
that, like you were saying before with the Oscars comparison, this is my problem with awards by critical committee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Totally agree, XV. Totally agree. On that note, New Soundwave can be bought for a marginal fee. So if you're interested in sponsoring New Soundwave, we're not against it. Give us a call. Give us a ring. Operators are standing by. On that note, I think that'll do it for New Soundwave 105. Good show, guys. We kept it short, kept it sweet. It's the Thursday edition. That's what you get, condensed. Next week, we'll talk a little bit more about Skyrim, and we'll go back to our regular format with a few more stories, delve a little bit deeper, like I said, into Skyrim, probably dig up a few more bones on Modern Warfare 3. We'll see what the Metacritic scores are a week after this rough patch with Modern Warfare 3. And then we'll see if people are actually still enjoying the game. The trick about Modern Warfare 3, and I'm not sure this is a good thing, but the fun in it is playing other people and not playing the game itself, like versus itself. It's like, so they put the responsibility of fun factor on you playing another human. They don't put the responsibility on themselves creating an actual enjoyable experience within the game.
Gotcha.
2011. Love it. What you gonna do? Okay, so we'll talk. That might be a discussion next week, especially if the scores go up and people realize this game doesn't suck when I play somebody else. When I play the actual game, it sucks. I don't know what that says. I don't know what that says about modern society. XV, think about it. Come back to us.
Yeah,
think about it. Come back to us with a diatribe.
All of my hate.
All of your hate in honor of very dead Andy Rooney. XV will have a diatribe on Modern Warfare 3 or not. But I will tell you next week, we'll be back with new Soundwave 106-ish, circa 106. And until then, I'm John. For Rob, for XV, we hope you have a good week. Thank you for listening, and listen to new Soundwave every Wednesday live after RFC. We may change to Thursday on a permanent basis, but we'll let you know. And then follow us on Twitter at @new_Soundwave. That is at @new_Soundwave. In our first week, we've broken into the triple digits in followers, which is very nice. We gave away 4,000 Microsoft points just for following New Soundwave, and we did live coverage of Canada Cup, which is the biggest fighting game tournament of the second half of the year. So please, please, please follow at New Soundwave, at @new_Soundwave for gaming news, live coverage of events, and a prize or two. So on that note, that is the show. We'll see you next week.
2, 1, 0. Game over.
Mother, you're alive. Too bad you will die.
This has been New Soundwave. Visit us at tfradio.net for show notes and to subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at tfradio for news and updates. Check out all our videos at tfvideo.net. New Soundwave is a radio-free Cybertron production.